Hi, this is Garvey Campbell. You are watching Carnival Network. I am with Tony Wilkinson. Tony Wilkinson runs the South Calypso Tent in St Lucia, and also is manager of a company called TELWILKY Productions. Tony Wilkinson, can you just, before we start, tell the audience a little bit about what you do and what you're involved in over there in St Lucia?
Well, yes, I'm Tony Wilkinson. First of all, it's from a Barbadian father.
All right, okay.
Yes, St Lucian mother.
Okay.
Okay, I am the last of 7 children. Actually, I'm into the music industry. I am really, I would say really serious about my music. I'm really devoted to it. What I do is have been the founder, the director of the South Calypso Tent since 1997. We started this tent, and also have established my new company, TELWILKY Productions. It started out in 2015.
Okay. So how long have you been involved in music? Is that?
As far as I remember, from a child, because my influence was from my brothers who were earlier involved in the music, and I grew up with music in my blood. So actually, it's from a child.
Okay.
From a child, always dedicated to it.
Okay, so with regards to the South Calypso Tent, I was born in Trinidad, so my knowledge of the Calypso Tent, how it functions and what it is, comes from there. What does the Calypso Tent do specifically over there? There's going to be a large proportion of people over here who are watching this who are familiar with the Caribbean, familiar with the soca scene, but they may not even know what a Calypso Tent is. So for those people, could you just tell them a little bit about your Calypso Tent and what it's involved in and what it actually does, the part it plays? Okay,
well, the Calypso Tent is really the medium by which Calypsonians participate in what you call national calypso. Normally, you have several tents where they host their shows, their individual shows, and then the Calypsonians go through the process of the shows. Then they go through the process of the quarterfinals, and then they go through the process of the semifinals, and they get into the finals to compete for the national calypso monarch. So it is basically that. My tent is a very good tent. I mean, I can say one of the best in St Lucia, since we have started in, as I said, 1998 was our first showing,
okay.
and we have won 11 monarch crowns.
Okay, wow, all right.
Yeah.
Tony, could you do me a favor? Actually, could you lower your camera just a little bit, so that we can get just a little bit more there? Perfect, ideal. So,
too much?
No, that's fine. That'll do. That's okay. So the other thing as well that you have over there is TELWILKY Productions. So I looked into this a little bit, and I can see there's quite a few things that you do. There's event production that you do, event management and promotion, stage management, songwriting, artist management, artist booking. There's a lot of services that you provide to clients. What was your motivation for actually starting that business? I know obviously you're involved in music, but was there something that you saw or a niche that you thought that you could fill?
Yes, actually, I studied music in Barbados at the Barbados Community College from 2005 to 2007.
Right.
Yeah, during my studies there, I came across, in fact, I got to know of a music company called Notes to Note.
Okay.
That was established by a gentleman called Chris Harper.
Okay.
And yes, from Barbados, and he was hosting one of the things that he was doing was he used to host a small grouping from Berklee College of Music from Boston.
Okay.
Who used to come to Barbados during the summertime. They used to come to Barbados and have some what I would call more or less trials for for students who would like to go to Berkeley in the future in terms of going through the summer course of Berkeley. And I felt that was a very good thing. During my stay in Barbados, during my studies in Barbados, I never saw this happen in St. Lucia. I never saw a music company. I never saw a company who could get involved in the industry and assist persons. I felt St. Lucia always had or have tremendous talent, and I wanted to organize a company like this and to be able to contribute to St. Lucia from the return of my studies. As a result, I established TELWILKY Productions Incorporated.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so this is where it gets to be a bit of an education for me as well, because one of the reasons why I reached out for you is I wanted to really get an idea from someone who's involved in music in St. Lucia, what the music scene is like over there at the moment. Are there any specific challenges, or is there anything new that's happening down there? What's the music scene like in St. Lucia at the moment?
Well, the music scene is steadily improving in St. Lucia. Okay. As I said, there's lots of talent, lots of young talent. Actually, the guys are breaking more barriers. I mean, last night was the Soca Monarch competition in Trinidad. Yeah. We had one St. Lucian in the finals, in the Groovy Monarch, and he placed second. Okay, that's Teddy St. John.
Yes,
It shows a lot. Surprisingly, I'm not sure what I saw him, but we were supposed to have Moto, a gentleman called Moto, based in the States. Yeah, actually, he's from the south. He's from Beaufort, which is where I'm from as well.
Right. Okay.
Yes, I'm speaking to you from the south right now. That's where I live. And I think he was supposed to be in that competition, but apparently, I'm not too sure where I saw him. I'm just remembering that. And he is doing very, very well in the US. He has had some collaborations with Marshall Montano, with Jacob DeVario from Kassav. He just released some songs there and he's doing extremely well. He's doing extremely well on YouTube and he's doing extremely well. There's something new happening in St. Lucia in the music industry. There's what you call there's a part of St. Lucia to the west coast called Dennery.
All right.
Yes. And there's this music called, in fact, they call it Dennery. They used to call it the Kuduro, but actually Kuduro has already been established before. So they call it the Dennery segment music. However, there are some pros and cons about it in terms of some persons liking it, some persons not liking it, just because of the lyrical content. However, I understand music to be something where all music has its advantages and disadvantages. The music goes with the lyrics as well. The same way dancehall has some kind of lyrics that you don't like. This kind of music is more about women. They feel it's denigrating women. However, it's more about women showcasing their bodies, showcasing themselves. Most of the music. Okay, R&B has its style of music, its style of lyrics. Blues has its style of lyrics. You understand? I mean, this is how it is. So when you've studied music and you understand what music is about, you would appreciate that every music has its style, its lyrical content that will go with the style that it has. So the segment music is a new thing in St. Lucia, and it's happening a lot. It's doing well. Young persons are getting involved. I would say the problems that we face in St. Lucia musically is we have persons with lots of talent. However, financing is a problem. Okay, financing in order to go that extra mile or to break that barrier in terms of your marketing and that kind of stuff. And to me, that I also believe that persons have to be a little more professional in the musical career, in terms of make sure that they have a manager, make sure they have a booking agent, make sure they try to get contracts and have things done properly. Too many persons are just practical musicians in terms of performers, and you find that there's not the persons who are aware of the industry in terms of the managers, the booking agents, to really educate them and to make them understand this is a business and that's how it has to go ahead. We have talent in the performance area, very much talent, but we need talent also in the business of the music to carry that performance the way it is supposed to go to.
I do think, I mean, one of the discussions that we have in the office quite a bit is how how much the technology and the internet has really like affected music. It's I mean we don't all agree. We have disputes and debates here all the time. There are some people here who say that what technology has done in some respects is it's made it easier for people who have musical talent to start doing their own thing and putting their music out there and distributing it, etc. While at the same time they may not have a lot of the knowledge that was that needed to be put in place when we were relying on hard material forms of music like records, cassettes, and CDs. So it's kind of like been a bit of a double-edged sword. It has enabled us to really get music out there a lot easier, but a lot of the structures that were in place and the the tried and tested methods that really established yourself as someone who was taking your music career seriously have kind of been a bit eroded, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I feel so as well. As I said earlier to you, people have to understand that everybody has the talent and skill. And although you have the technology will make it much easier for the persons right now, you need to have persons behind you with the necessary contacts and to know how they operate. Most big record labels do not want to deal directly with an artist. They rather deal with the artist management.
Right.
They want to make sure, because it's business. You understand? Right. And because some of the artists may just have the talent, but some of them are very irresponsible as well as to respecting contracts and that kind of stuff. So the record labels would like to deal with a company. They would like to deal with somebody who's involved in a company. So in the event of things fall out, they know who to
who to hold to account.
Who to account. It's exactly what it is. They do not want to. In fact, they will not. They don't really deal with an artist in particular, except if an A&R agent takes you from that company and brings you to the company. However, other A&R agents may see all the talent, or record labels may see all the talents, but they rather deal with the management. Yeah.
The other thing as well is. My background obviously is I've always been into Carnival, I've always been into the soca scene. I've travelled to many different islands, but before we started Carnival Network 5-6 years ago, we actually it was surprising how much we didn't know goes into putting together music. We've interviewed quite a few artists, we've spoken to them behind the scenes as well, and to find out what they're doing, how much work goes into it. A lot of the artists now are moving into creating their music videos, which is another beast of work. For you to be able to tie the lyrics of your tune and put it together with the music, and it's a lot of work. But again, many of them do it for the love of it. If you were to give advice to some of those people who are trying to do it on their own, maybe 3 or 4 bits of information. Getting a manager is definitely one of them, but what would those other bits of advice be for those people?
Well, the advice is yes. I mean, as I said, the talent is always there. The raw talent is always there, and I respect that. I respect it, but you have to do it properly. You have to make sure that you look for skilled persons in producing that video or whatever. I also believe that we still have persons who are willing to assist and help it, because if somebody who's involved in video production, that kind of stuff, helps out an artist in terms of getting a video done properly, and it is done properly, he also gets the exposure as well. So some persons are willing to help, although you have those who is money first and then the product is nothing really. But I would advise them to get associated with a video company around that can assist. We have in St Lucia, we have a lot of young persons who are into video production, and they're doing pretty well. What I observe also is that most of the artists, they do these short videos, the pre-release and that kind of thing, and they put it out. I mean, some of them that do not have the finance, as I said, finance is a serious problem as well. what they do is to just put in the photo, the photo, not with nothing running really, with the song being. That is still good as well, because that's what we can afford. Financing is a problem. Video production takes a lot of time, as we said, takes a lot of time to produce it and to make it to make it be professional enough to get out there. So I believe we need some more collaborations. We need some more persons getting together. We cannot pull from here to there, like the producers, the guys in the production pulling away, the artists pulling away. Everybody's money first. Let's get together. Get together. Let's get the product together. Let's get the product together. Let's sacrifice for the benefit of each other, and then get that product out there. And then when it gets big, then we all enjoy it. We all get piece of the pie, not just. Let's try to work with each other, and then let's try to get that product out there, and then we see where we get to.
Okay, so is that actually a bit of an issue out there? It sounds as though what you're saying is that pretty much St Lucia has pretty much everything it needs. It has people who can do the video work. Obviously, the people who can create the sounds and the beats. It's got the talent. Is there an issue with regards to people finding common ground and working together so that they can get the music out there and allow it to grow and spread to the West, like where we are over here in the UK and in the US?
There's very much that issue. There's very much that issue that persons think of the money first,
right?
Instead of collaborating to get the product out there so that everybody can gain from it. That is a serious thing. In fact, most of the artists, most of the young persons who have the talents, some of them do not even have a job. Okay, so I mean,
Wow.
it's like a job apart from what they're doing. It's just the talent that they have. And they need the help. They need the help from persons who have the who have the equipment, who have the skill to help them to get out there. However, it's a two-way thing. It's a kind of understanding that we don't have. It's a kind of collaboration that we don't have to get it there. Okay, get persons with just raw talent that needs that thing. I mean, that's where my company comes in terms of I try my best to educate, to try to. My aim right now is to try to get resource persons to come in to talk to them, persons with the experience, persons with the skill, to talk to them, to get them to, understand it. But sometimes you have to bring person from outside who is already involved in the field to make them understand it. So this is where I will be coming in. I mean, a little later in terms of my company and to see where the problems are and try to see how much I could help. My contributions. I'm not even really thinking about the money for first and that kind of stuff, but just to try to bring a kind of understanding which I have seen from the other side that we're lacking. And yes.
Yeah, I mean, so like one of the issues that we get on our side, and I'm saying this so if there are any soca artists listening as well, they can hear this too. It is one of the things that we want to do with Carnevale Network, and that we are doing, is we're promoting the music to people who haven't heard it before. We're promoting not just soca, but Dennery segment movement, bouillon music from Dominica. Also, though, a lot of the live band stuff, because I personally love the live band music. Oh man, some of the traditional folk music that they've got in St Lucia, funny enough as well. That the name of it escapes me, but I heard it once on YouTube a year ago and was completely.
Laquemet or something like that?
It might be, yeah. It might be. They had. Where were they playing it? It was a particular part of St Lucia where they were playing it, and they were having a bit of a festival. But it's a traditional folk music from St Lucia.
Okay.
I've never heard of it before.
The Margaret music, La Margaret, La Rose. Because we have the La Margaret, the La Margaret Festival and the La Rose Festival, which are two flower groups, and they have their own folk music as well. That's two different. The La Margaret is one grouping, and there's the La Rose, okay, and they have flower festivals, and they both have their own folk music, kind of criticizing each other, and that kind of traditional St Lucian. Yeah. But they use pure folk music. I mean, folk music is the violin, the guitar.
Yeah. I think they had a violin. They did have one of the guys was playing a violin.
Yeah, the violin, the guitar.
Music was sweet, man. It was really nice.
Yeah, part of it comes from the waltz as well. The 1, 2, 3 from the waltz and that kind of stuff. Because the violin is European, as you know, and I mean, the waltz music came from Europe. So I mean that kind of stuff. So it's part of that, but it's really our Creole music, and we have some very good groups. We have a lot of the young people now going into the Creole music as well. Okay, this is something good happening in St Lucia culturally. Well, right now we have an influx of young people into the culture, which is kind of changing right now. So we're hoping that continues and can get much better. Yeah.
So one of the things, there was a story a couple of months ago where there were a bunch of young St Lucian artists who were going over to the United States for, I think it was for a festival or a series of performances, and the government, the Prime Minister, some officials were basically supporting them in their trip over there, and were basically, I'm not sure whether the help that they were given was monetary or what, but they were getting some form of support. My question is there anything that the government has in place or is doing over there to help some of the young people who want to perhaps start a career in music, to allow them to put things in place and get to where they want to get to?
Well, they have mentioned it. The government they've mentioned it over and over again, but I am still not satisfied. Governments upon governments, I'm not satisfied with what's been happening. The last administration, the last government, they had what you call the creative industries.
Right.
Okay. Where they used to give give funding to artists and that kind of stuff, assist them and that kind of thing. They too bought a very large contingent to New York, but you know politics already, and I mean, people, whereas they want the music to go far, some of the people, the general populace, they criticize, why did you put so much money in artists and then you could put the money into something else, that kind of stuff politically. That's what happens. Last year, the present administration took some guys from the Denver segment area and brought them to New York for Labor Day. I think that was it. I think that may have been it. Yeah. And gave them some assistance. I guess assistance in terms of air transportation, accommodation, that kind of stuff. They had some officials with them, so they did some tours within the U.S. and that kind of thing. I think that came out very well. But what I would have liked to see continue, really, when it comes to government assistance, is the funding. The funding is important so that persons who have the talent, who can do the production, that they want to buy certain equipment, that the government give them that assistance. That kind of what they call it again, financial assistance in terms of whatever, so that they can probably do it. It used to happen. Okay, it is to have some persons gain from it, and it's kind of discontinued. So I strongly believe maybe that this present administration will do some work on it, because I realize that something is happening, and they are aware of the talent, and I believe that they honestly want to do something. However, there are many priorities. Yeah, but we need to tap that talent and make sure that we invest in the talent, so that they can go forward. Music is a $1 billion, a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Absolutely.
And we can't afford to be wasting time on it. We have to put it. Yes.
Absolutely. And I mean, the other thing as well is that, and I'm not sure how. I'm not sure, but basically because I'm from Trinidad, but I live in the UK. I travel all around, but I'm not sure how much of the people who live within the Caribbean personally actually understand how powerful music is.
Music is, yes.
Yeah. So for instance, perfect example. Grenada at the moment is getting a lot of attention amongst the people who are familiar with the Caribbean. There's a lot of people in the United States and in the Western world and in Europe who aren't too knowledgeable about the Caribbean. However, the people that are, one of their first bits of contact with the Caribbean is through the music. So the Grenadian music is starting to be promoted more. It's starting to be passed around a lot more and heard a lot more over here in a lot of the clubs, on the radio, and as a result, there's interest drawn to Grenada. And as a knock-on effect of that, what I'm seeing is that there are a lot more people now who are saying, next year they want to head down to Grenada's Carnival because they want to experience the music down there. Yeah, in person. Yeah. So, and Dennery segment has had to a point the same effect with
Yes, yes.
with what Motto's doing. You know, with the music. I think he's been up here on one or at least one occasion, perhaps two or three, where he's performed live at events. And obviously, because of the Dennery segment sound that he's promoting, it's again drawing attention to St Lucia.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not sure. It's always a question mark for me how much or how little do people understand how powerful the music is from the Caribbean. Bob Marley's music for many people put Jamaica on the map, for example.
Yes, sure, for sure, yeah, for sure.
And you know, if you were to put a marketing budget for the amount of PR that was for Jamaica at that time, it was probably in the millions, because there are people even now who listen to Bob Marley's music even now. So
yes.
I definitely agree with what you're saying about the governments investing in the artists, but I don't think that affects just St Lucia. That affects a lot of different islands. I'm of the mind that they should really invest in the music.
You see, what I feel is that, you know, which is unfortunate, you know, I do not know if it is sometimes maybe political marketing, but governments usually talk about the artists when they go out. They talk about them and see how they appreciate them. They're doing very well and they're doing very good, and say this, whatever. But you know, to me, I still believe that they're not putting the money where their mouth is enough. You understand? And too much talk about what is great and what is good for maybe their own advantages and stuff and whatever. But in terms of the actually investing, putting the money, you understand? Some of the countries, some of the islands don't even have a proper music facility or proper music school where the children can learn. The programs in the music in the schools are not probably good enough. You understand? You don't have enough qualified people to probably teach, and it's unfortunate sometimes. And I mean, but you need to have strong programs. Music can help in many different ways in terms of help with delinquency, juvenile delinquency. Children at risk. That kind of stuff and whatever. Invest in the people. You invest in the people in terms of getting the youth off the streets. Have solid programs in the schools. Have solid after-school programs. Have solid facilities and maybe a school after the secondary level as well, so that the students can learn, so that they can become professionals. So that not just the talent. A professional is not just your talent, but your skill, your knowledge is important. And we have the skill. Yeah. But I am concerned about sometimes is the knowledge. Yeah. The knowledge as to academically, as to which is something that's needed for us to move forward, for us to go that extra mile. So when we at certain levels, we know how to stand for ourselves because of academically. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose one of the root causes, and I mean, you can perhaps disagree with me on this. I think one of the root causes is art in and of itself, all forms of art, whether it's for carnival costume design, music, or anything like that. A lot of the time, because it's a creative process, a lot of the people, politicians for instance, businessmen, sometimes don't know how to quantify it, perhaps put a dollar amount to it. They don't know how to scale it to turn it into something that can be produced in a sustainable way, so that it can bring some sustainable benefit to the island, perhaps tourism, perhaps it could be used for adverts, for instance. There's a lot of things that music can be used for that can bring or encourage money to come back into the island. But unless it's been identified or there's a framework put in place for that to happen, then I suppose politicians, businessmen, maybe investors won't be able to see where the tangible benefits lie. And I think this is where perhaps the internet really it's one of the harmful aspects of the internet. We get a lot of really good music coming through to us from people that a lot of the people who follow us just don't know about, haven't heard of before. Really good music. But on the other hand, we get some people, and I have to say this, who they could use your help because they've got very raw talent, but they don't have any of the basic knowledge of, you know, things like when to drop a chorus in, melodies, you know, how to identify when you have a good track from a track that maybe won't translate so well if it was being played by a live band. I mean, these are things that average people like me who go to parties won't know about, but
yes,
you need to know it. You need to know it if you really want to start creating music that really stands out from the rest.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, yes, you need to know it, but I mean also too, people have to do some more research as well. I mean everything is online. I mean you can go on YouTube and you can learn a lot of stuff and it's there. I guess people don't have patience to read. They don't have patience to do the correct researches. Sometimes patience to just go on YouTube and just listen to an artist, just listen to an from, but they'll not go and find out even the bio of the artist and find out where did that artist come from, and maybe particular school or particular thing that the artist do, and then research that school or what that person did. You understand? And that's how you go. Because you have to understand the person didn't just evolve just so, you know. The person went for a process. Most of them.
Yes.
Most of the artists, they're going for a process. Some of them are well schooled too. So sometimes you have to find out but how did this person get there? Look at the bio of the artist. You know, go on Wikipedia or whatever, and look at the person's bio, and then see. You know, I research the school, research what the person did, find out about the person's history, how the person started, at what age the person started. You understand? And then you get from that link, from doing that, you get going into other things. You know, it attracts you to go into other things. So you start researching not just performers, but you research the history of performers as well, and you research things. You try to find out. You Google right now. You can Google anything.
Yes.
Anything you can Google and find out. Just put in something. It may not even be correct. It corrects you, and then
Yes.
So we need to wake up a bit as artists, as performers, and go online and do the correct research. Do not use YouTube and online just to see artists perform.
Yes.
Or to know how much money they make. They have a way. They have a reason why they made that money. They have a reason why they're rich there today. So we have to think of these kind of things as well. You know.
So I like that. So I suppose one of the other things as well is the motivations of the of the musician. So money is obviously one thing. There may be a significant proportion of people out there who they see getting into music as a way of a viable way of making money.
So
that's one motivation. Obviously, there's the other side of it where there are some people who love to party. They love the lifestyle, the attention. The guys may like the attention from the women. You know, the party lifestyle, all of that.
Yes.
You know, and then what you also have are the people like yourself who appreciate music in and of itself for what it is. You know, it's a form of expression, and it has its rules. You know, you have classical musical rules upon which even like things like soca and calypso and all of those traditional forms of music and the music that we've got today all built on. And if you don't have that, then it's going to be a little bit hit and miss with regards to the music that you end up producing.
Yes.
You know, I mean, do you see that as a bit of a problem for some of the guys who are trying to do it on their own?
Yes, a lot. Yes, that's a problem for a lot of the artists. I mean, as you said, we have been talking a lot about raw talent here. I mean, the fact remains that sometimes you end up at a certain level, and that's where you get caught. You understand? Because you find yourself you find difficulty in getting further because of your roots. I mean, what you do, what you research, and how you do it. As you said, I mean, soca, calypso is Caribbean music, okay?
Yeah.
Caribbean music. That's Caribbean music. Then you have a lot of Caribbean music. You know, Cuba has a lot of genres.
Yeah. Oh.
Lots of genres.
Oh my, yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
Well, has lots of genres. I mean, that's Caribbean music. I mean, that's just you have the Spanish Caribbean and that kind of stuff, Cuba, Venezuela. some music, and then you have as you said, you have classical music, which is European.
Yes.
Okay. It has its roots from the church.
Yes.
And then you have this jazz music, which is American, which has slavery.
Yes.
From the movie Africa to New Orleans and that kind of stuff. So you have to try to understand these things. So most artists, they have the raw talent, and they go into it, and they like the performance, they like the flair about it, they like to be on stage, they like the girls, they like to party, as you said.
Yes.
But the fact remains, sometimes you reach at a certain level, you meet with certain people, and then you get yourself stuck. So I'm saying that even though you're not formally schooled or whatever, you still have an opportunity to do the research. Because you should be aware that there may be a stage in your life where you'll get caught. Okay, or you may reach somewhere where you find yourself like in a box, just trapped because of you didn't do the basics in terms of understanding certain things. Now, I mean, it's so easy now to really. Before it was more difficult.
Oh yeah.
The internet online has made it so simple for us to see. Okay, to see and to get it done. We don't have to spend the money to go to schools like before. You can just go online and just get that information. The people who are where they are had to spend a lot of money to go to schools to learn and to get where they are. I mean, the artists you see, maybe the Beyoncés, the Rihanna's, the whatever. These people did voice training sometimes,
Yeah.
To do the voice training, and by the management maybe advise them to do voice training, to do certain things, to learn certain things in their voice. Whilst they had raw talent, when they started developing and getting there, they did extra work. They did master classes and that kind of stuff. That kind of thing. And sometimes we don't have the money to do it, but we can still go online and learn. That's what I'm saying. To make sure that we don't get ourselves in a trap in the future. That kind of thing.
I think one of the things as well is that, I mean, unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't know. They have the access to the internet, which is pretty much the greatest library on the planet. But many of them, I think, sometimes may not know what to look for.
What to look for? Yeah.
So I mean, a perfect example is I was so glad when you were talking about to hear you talk about the different types of music in all the different places. So we obviously did some research on the types of music coming out of the Caribbean. So there were the obvious ones: soca, calypso, dancehall music, reggae. Delhi segment was there too. Kaiso.
Zouk from Martinique.
Yeah, all of that.
The Bouillon from Dominica, all that kind of stuff.
But then there was the number was crazy. It was like 54 or 60 different types of music.
Yes.
Subgenres of music, traditional folk music.
Yes.
Goombay music from the Bahamas that I've never heard of before. Good music. Rake and Scrape from Turks and Caicos. Benna from Antigua. I'd never heard about these forms of music before.
Yes.
But interestingly enough, I can remember hearing maybe one or two tunes of it played in an odd party somewhere, just slipped in. And I would just think, it's soca music. I don't know where it's from, but it's soca music. But actually, the islands have got so much rich music out there. Not only that they can go to and perform as a music genre in its own right, but that they can connect with and allow to influence and maybe perhaps put a spin on their own different types of music. Because what I'm seeing now is that there is a certain amount of soca artists who for one reason or another perhaps feel the need to merge their music with types of music that are not from the Caribbean, which is okay, and I think some of them are doing that so that they can try to appeal to a wider audience. However, they've got all of these different types of music sitting there in the Caribbean. The genre of music that I heard from St Lucia is just one example that they could draw inspiration from. And I mean, some of this music was blowing me away,
Yes, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm saying that we have lots of it. We have lots of it. I mean, in the Caribbean, and I mean, we are not even aware what we have. I mean, you know, the situation of Cuba and that kind of and the movements of Cubans and that kind of stuff is kind of restricted in a way, and that kind of. But there are very talented musicians there. There are lots of music schools and institutions there as well, and lots of genres. Lots of genres. Very skilled musicians from small 5-year-olds to up. I mean, it's amazing. You know, you go to you might go to an event and see a 7-year-old playing a piano, and then you've been playing that piano for decades, and to see that child play a piano, maybe wanting you to give up and play piano. To give up, and you just say no, but if that child can play that and I cannot do that, and I'm practicing this about decades now, and to see a child 7 years old doing that kind of stuff, it's amazing, you know. So I mean, that's what it is, and all that is there. I don't know if you know a guy. I mean, there's a guy recently I've been following. I think his name is Alfredo Rodriguez. He's a pianist from Cuba.
No, but I'll look him up. Alfred Rodriguez.
Yeah, Alfredo. Alfredo Rodriguez is Cuban, and he's Cuban and went to the States, and that was it. He never really went back to Cuba. You know, I think he filed for political asylum at the border. Okay, but he met with Quincy Jones when he went to the States. Okay, and he's a great pianist, very, very talented. You know, in fact, I mean, you know, he's the guy now when it comes to jazz and pianists and stuff and whatever. He's the guy. You know, so I mean, so that is just one example of the amount of talent. But when that talent leaves Cuba and goes to the States, you know, I mean, the opportunities, you know. So I mean, they happen to stay there. Many of them that you see, many of the Spanish guys in the States are Cubans, you know, and they're doing extremely well in the States and that kind of thing. So as we were saying, that the Caribbean has lots of talent. You know, it's just the opportunities that we want. I mean, we are doing better in comparison to before. I must say so, and it will still take a little time. But however, I mean, you know, I mean, we have made some persons have been able to succeed to a certain extent. But we can, you know, with more assistance, more togetherness, more government input and that kind of stuff, more priorities, getting the persons getting the priorities right, that we can do better.
Hopefully they'll watch this and hear your message, because and not just St Lucia, I mean all of the islands. For all of the Caribbeans living abroad, and all of the sons and daughters of those people who are born in the Caribbean, you know, we want to hear more. We want to hear more. We want to see all of the various islands represented and recognised over here. And you know, one of the ways that draw attention to a nation and to a culture is what it produces in the form of art. That's why you know, Europe, all of the European countries and most of the successful countries, they place an investment in their art forms. That's what that shows the rest of the world the expression of the people and what they can create.
And I also believe too, persons who have done well and are in Europe and music promoters and that kind of stuff and whatever should really make it a responsibility to try hard, although it's a business, you know, to at least during times try to get some of the young artists from the Caribbean.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
And push the music as well. Push the music. You know, some of them are DJs on the stations, and I mean sometimes it's very difficult to hear. You're sending stuff for them, you know, they don't even really take you on sometimes. I can tell you that. You know, so they at least, you know, give, you know, when they have like if there's St Lucia Independence and they celebrating it in England or in New York or whatever, invite the young people to come to perform. Try to see how you could do it, because the talent is there. We have to help each other.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's not because that we are over there that we forget about whatever and we go for what is
Agreed.
Simple thing. I believe more of that can be done. You know, more of that can, and especially when it comes to St. Lucians. I do not know, in fact, in terms of trainees and Jamaicans, how they work with each other. But I feel from the St. Lucian aspect, from the St. Lucian side of it, we need to do more of that. You know, we're going to get the young people out there, bring them, even though it's one person or whatever. It's more difficult now to get to the States or to get to England to perform. Sometimes you have to pay your own ticket.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
it's something we talk about here a lot. The
yes,
getting artists over here, getting them over here and giving them the exposure that will
yeah,
help them to take where they are to the next level.
yeah,
You know, I can definitely agree with what you're saying. I mean, there's the business side, and I suppose it's the same issue. There are people over here. There are promoters. There
yes,
are people who play on radios who promote Caribbean music, but there are some of them who do it for the love.
yes, yes,
You know, I've got all the respect, you know, all day, every day for those people. But I suppose there are a percentage of them who, again, they enjoy the lifestyle. You know,
yeah,
the
yeah,
girls, the this, the that, the other. You know, and then there are others, obviously, who are trying to make a viable business out of it as well. So, you know, for them, it's about the numbers. If it's not, if they can't see it being profitable and having minimum risk, then a lot of them won't engage in it. But at the same time, I suppose where we need to get to is a place where it's balanced between all three. You know, there's a certain amount of the influence that comes from obviously the love and the promotion of the music.
yeah,
There's a certain amount of attention obviously paid to make sure that the business side of it has its due diligence. Its due diligence and its work put in, so that
yes,
it is profitable. As you said, there are some of these people who don't work, and music is all
yes,
that they do.
yes, yes,
And again, and you know, the girls, the fame, all of that stuff.
yes,
That stuff's gonna come.
yes, yes,
If you take care of those first two, you know,
yeah,
if you take care of your art form and you take care of the money, you know, the fun, the you know, the recognition, that's gonna come.
yes, it's gonna come, yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, personally, I think I'm with you on that. I think a lot more can be done over here in Europe and in the United States, definitely.
Yeah, especially with the new talents, you know, the lots of new talents around, and we have to try to give these new talents opportunities as well. I mean, I have some good new talents in my teams, you know, like, you know, that needs that opportunity, you know, to get out there. I mean, it's difficult. It's not very easy. Some of them working, it's difficult to get the US visas and stuff, you know, because if you're not working, it might be a little difficult. Now, who may have to help you is maybe governments, maybe through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, maybe the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that's who that maybe will be able to help you. It's not an easy task, you know. It's not an easy. You know, I mean, we have some hindrances in the Caribbean. You know, generally we have some hindrances, and that is one of the things too that affects us, the hindrances. But I believe, I mean, our persons out there who have had the opportunity, who have been doing success out there, can help. You know, can help in some way, somehow. You know, I know before. Well, I mean, it's not so again, because the whole U.S. visa and that policy has changed. Where people would write letters, send you a letter, and then you go to the embassy with the letter and get that stuff. I know that's changed now. You understand? I believe governments have to find out about certain things and get the people involved and see how much they can help. You know, some of the persons very young persons, they do not know what to do. You know, they don't know where to turn to and that kind of stuff, and how to do it and how to get through. Again, some of them, I mean, it's not easy. And I told you a while ago that before they would have, the promoter would have financed your ticket and that kind of stuff, and you come up there or whatever. Now you have to pay your own ticket to go up there, and sometimes you go up there and what you think is not what's happening in terms of you know. So it's you know, it's a bit of a struggle too. You understand, in terms of especially for the young people to make it through and have a good have a little successful tour. You know, I'm overseas, you know, the States and England and that kind of stuff, Canada, that kind of stuff, you know. Okay. It's painful, it's a little hard sometimes, you know, whatever. So I mean, I am seeing that, and that's what I do. I try to speak to people, you know. I mean, young talent, when I see them, you know, speak to them and always question them, always ask them, you have a visa, you have a passport, you have everything. Yeah. So, try to ring it to them so that they know, well, this is necessary. You know, I try to make link with people online and see who need who and who, you know, that kind of thing. Push out the music for my social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, and that kind of stuff. Try to push it out and try to get them exposure so people can hear them, question me about them, respond. You know, try to tell them to get their stuff together, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not into performance, but I'm into the business aspect of it. I'm in school as well, so I tried my best to help. But we need more persons like me in St Lucia, definitely.
Okay. So just to be clear with TELWILKY, you help people in St Lucia, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah. Typically, what kind, aside from, so music artists will be some of the clients that you'll deal with. Are there any other types of people that you deal with?
Okay, so far, what I do, I have a music program going on. I have a few students right now. It's called a Musical Live Program, MAP, Musical Live Program, where I do private classes with students, you know, private individual classes of some young people. I do keyboard, guitar, you know, whatever, you know. Because I spent 20 years in the Royal St Lucia Police Band.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I spent 20 years there, the Royal St Lucia Police Band. I majored on the clarinet, and there I was able to strengthen my musical range in a bit.
Real music.
Yeah. So 20 years, you know. So I mean, I was able to strengthen my ability, which is my forte is musical arranging. That's my forte. Scoring music, you know, scoring the music on paper and that kind of stuff and whatever.
Okay.
That's my forte. So I try to. I am doing some classes with some students, which is the first project that my music company is doing. That I intend to, like, sometime. It's still in the planning. I intend to host a workshop sometime in the end of April. Okay. There'll be about calypso music, present, past, and future.
Right.
It is still in the planning. You know, I am just going through the process and that kind of stuff right now. So that will educate most of the young people about the calypso, so they know where it came from, where it is today.
Yeah, man.
Tomorrow, that kind of stuff. So that's education and workshops and that kind of stuff. I do artist booking. I'm currently the booking agent of an artist, Trinidadian, but he's based in Canada.
Okay.
His name is Joel Davis, the connector.
Okay.
Connector.
I'll look him up.
I'm his booking agent. Yes, connector. I'm his booking agent. He's based in. He lives in Canada, but he's Trinidadian by birth. Actually, he should be in Trinidad right now. Carnevale, you know.
Carnevale.
And yes, yeah. And now I do bookings for some of the artists in my tent, which I told you that I have some really powerful people in my tent, so I do some bookings for them and to make sure that they understand the business. I'm very particular about they understanding the business and make sure contracts are signed.
Yes.
And who they involve in, so they understand. Especially the young ones, I make sure that they grow up understanding that music is not just performance; it's a business.
That's right.
You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, and I have plans to do other things. However, as we go along, you know, gradually I am presently operating with these music classes, which I do. I have the plans for the workshop. I do some artist booking as well, and that's how I go along.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
All right. Well, what we'll do, we'll leave it there. But before we go, could you just let people know where they can find you online? If you have a website, where they can reach you, if they want to contact you, maybe if they want to book any of the artists that you have.
Yeah. Well, online, my Facebook page, Tony Wilkinson, or TELWILKY Productions, the TELWILKY Productions group, or South Calypso Tent fan club, South Calypso Tent. Tony Wilkinson, you go into Tony Wilkinson, you'll get me online as well. My YouTube, I'm on YouTube as well. Tony Wilkinson, I'm on YouTube, so just have to just enter Tony Wilkinson YouTube, you will get me. I am on Instagram. I am also on Twitter. Okay, so there, you know, and my email is TELWILKY Productions, TELWILKY Productions @gmail.com. Okay, Tony.Wilkinson @hotmail, South Calypso Tent @hotmail, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place when it comes to online. Okay, and you know, I am always available to assist, to help, to do whatever. But I am very, very frequent on Facebook. very, very frequent on Facebook. That's where I am. I am usually at home. Yeah, I'm usually at home, so I'm frequent on Facebook. So you come on Facebook, Tony Wilkinson, go on Facebook. We can chat. We can chat. Yeah, we can chat. I am there for hours, as Google separately too sometimes. So
Fantastic.
So,
well,
yes.
listen. With regards to your artists, if you've got any artists that you feel are up there and of a standard, let them know that we'd be happy to have their bios, and if they've got music on YouTube or anything featured on our site,
Yes.
so that we can put them out there. That's an open door.
Yeah, you can check my YouTube page as well. Okay, I have a
Definitely, I
few
will do.
artists. I have a few artists there. I mean, not many, because I just started the YouTube page recently, and we take from there. As you know, I'm always available. Whatever information that you need, we could probably, I could probably provide you with.
Yeah, man.
I will let them. I mean, this is the first interview that I've done with you all, which I
Okay.
really appreciate that opportunity, and I believe that we can go places with that.
No
I
problem.
believe so.
There's no telling who'll see it, but I'd really love the government. Maybe you could get Chastanet to watch this. And,
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's not just him alone.
Of
Governments, it's governments,
Of
not
course,
just
of
the
course.
present government. Governments, as I said, one of the things that they usually talk about is, but you have to put your money where your mouth is. You understand, and you have to make sure that you invest seriously and strongly, because there's need for lots of things, and put the right persons in the right places as well.
Definitely. All right,
Yes.
Tony. Well, we'll leave it there. It's been an honor speaking with you.
Yes,
I
thank you.
love hearing what people are doing at a grassroots level for the arts in the Caribbean, because you guys are what we hear,
Yes.
and what we see. So thanks for the interview, Tony. We'll have to do this again sometime for sure.
Yes, for sure,
Yeah?
for sure.
All
I'm
right.
available anytime.
Absolutely. So, for those watching this, I hope you've enjoyed this interview. Make sure you check Tony out. Check him out at TELWILKY or the South Calypso Tent in St Lucia. Hope you've enjoyed the interview. This is Garvey Campbell with Tony Wilkinson, and you've been watching Carnival Network. We'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you, Gavin.